Hello again. Today I'm going to be reacting to a old favorite of mine, The Unusual Suspect. And today's video is my top 10 unpopular movie opinions. From the description, he's going to be talking about movies and movie industry stuff that he doesn't like, or I guess is outside the norm, and curious what he has to say. About 2 years ago, I think, he did a video called 20 or 25 Things I Hate About Movie Theaters, which, well, I didn't agree with it fully, was interesting, and I've done so many reactions to The Usual Suspect at this point, so it's pretty much pointless to talk about how I feel about him, but to keep it brief, I really like the dude. He's a very skilled editor, and well, he says he's not going to be doing movie reviews, at least for the foreseeable future. The reviews he's done in the past are just fucking excellent, and I always look forward to when he puts a video out, and even if you don't agree with everything, they're at the least interesting. And he also did a 10 things he would have changed about the Star Wars sequels videos, I believe, last year, and that was pretty well put together. I like that, and that's all I gotta say. Got my I was washing my hands before it was cool t-shirt on, and look forward to, once again, seeing what Ross John Fernley has churned out. Without further ado, let's watch.
Hey, what is going on, guys? So, first of all, I got a green screen skit compilation coming out soon, starring a certain web crawler.
Yep, heard about this.
Time to put together. So, to fill the gap between uploads, I'm going to do something which is tantamount to a YouTuber shooting themselves in the foot. I'm going against the grain. All cards are on the table. I'm going to talk about my unpopular movie opinions. Grab your torch and pitchforks! You see, as someone who has reviewed shit now for many, many years, I often feel under pressure if I go against the general consensus.
Don't we all?
I just want to please people. I want to read nice comments. I want those thumbs up, damn it. But as a critic,
But don't get into the business of YouTubing.
I am inevitably going to piss people off every now and then. So I decided, screw it. I'm going to come clean right now with 10 opinions about movies that would be enough to make Saints swear. So without further ado, let's begin. Activate red shields! Number 10. Watching movies is not a social experience for me. Most of the time. So at the risk of being labelled an absolute Scrooge, I never quite understood the appeal of watching a movie with other people. Scrooge! Again, most of the time. Because obviously, to follow along and enjoy the story, you can't be chatting with someone else whilst you're watching. You could miss important plot points. You could miss the punchline of a joke. And you'll most likely miss out on any subtleties that could otherwise fascinate you. So, if you shouldn't interact with your friend whilst you're watching the movie, then why are you watching it with them? I mean, please don't misunderstand. I love watching other things with people. Like, quiz shows are great to see who gets the most questions right. Sports are fun to watch with friends so you can cheer on your favourite team together. And then there's shows with a competitive format. There you can discuss who you like and don't like with your friends and or family while you watch. But a movie is story-driven. I want to pay attention. I want to get sucked into the world of said movie, and I can't effectively do that
I can understand that.
in the same room. That's not to mention those times when you're getting into a movie, but the person next to you thinks it's shit. Often their derogatory comments can sway your own opinion and cause you to enjoy a film far less. One man's Dark Knight.
I don't know how far less, but it'd be annoying.
Robin. If your fellow moviegoer's taste differs than yours, that will lead to a less than ideal viewing scenario. And there's certain films out there where watching it solo is all but mandatory to properly enjoy it. Back in 2014, I went to the movies with a friend to go see Gone Girl. And if you've seen that film, suffice to say you don't feel too chatty with your fellow moviegoer after you've seen it. So, about that scene where the guy got his throat slit in the middle of sex, can we talk about something else? Now, there are exceptions, of course, where watching a movie with others can be great. A prime example are films like The Room and Birdemic. You know, the so bad they're good type of movies.
Yeah, those are definitely fun to talk over.
With friends. And perhaps familiar films you're watching again are a good fit. If you and a friend know the plot well, then discussing the film as you go along can be a fun and interesting time. And I'll also give a huge exception to any film you would label as a crowd pleaser. For example, I recently watched the second in My Hero Academia movie, Heroes Rising, and I think I did a huge disservice to myself by watching the film at home, because Heroes Rising is the definition of a crowd pleaser. Just go on YouTube and look up theatre reactions to it, because the crowd goes insane at it, and rightfully so. And I think that, had I been in a theatre full of fellow excitable weebs, then that would have elevated the film's epicness to a whole other level. MCU movies are also a prime example of this. Though this watching amongst passionate fans experience can be a double-edged sword, because some people can get a bit too excited.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh shit! Oh shit! You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm happy watching all movies at home. Fuck people.
Gotta stop fucking screaming.
Number 9. Movie theatres are closed all around the world. Good. Okay,
I would have expected that from him.
I actually think that. But for me, some good has come out of it. You see, a few years back, I made a video called 25 Things I Hate About Movie Theatres. Not going to delve into those reasons here. Go watch the video if you're interested. But
Or my reaction to it.
I have grown to hate the movie-going experience. True, there are good things about cinemas, like how the aforementioned crowd pleasers are elevated in such settings, to the obvious visual and sound upgrade to IMAX. But for me, the bad outweighs the good. And hell, even those who work in Hollywood have grown to see the issue with movie theatres. Like Anthony Mackie was talking about it once at a convention he was at.
I have a great sound system in my house with a great TV. I have my own popcorn maker. I got my own cabinet with my in it, you know what I'm saying? So I can sit here for $8 and watch this movie just like I'm in a movie theater, pause it, freshen my, and come right back to it. So why go to the movies?
Anthony, I couldn't agree more. The only reason I ever still go to the cinema is to watch the big movies like MCU and Star Wars stuff, simply so I can avoid spoilers online. I don't go to the cinema out of desire, I go out of necessity, and that sucks. But then something happened. Yeah, that's all I need to say. You know what I'm talking about, and all I had to say was, something happened. Yeah, COVID-19 decimated movie theatres all around the world, to the point that the highest grossing movie of 2020 was one you probably haven't even heard of. But because distributors couldn't release films in the theatre anymore, many opted to release straight to streaming services like Disney Plus and HBO Max, which meant
I don't have.
like Wonder Woman 1984 and Soul from the
Too many
comfort of my
streaming
own
services, in
home.
my opinion.
And I loved it. Pre-COVID, I had to stay off the internet to avoid spoilers until I made a dreaded theatre visit. But now, I can watch a film immediately upon release, and I don't even have to get out of my chair to do it. No more annoying moviegoers, no more expensive concessions, no more sitting through 30 minutes of commercials waiting for the movie to bloody start. Oh, bliss. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking. Oh, you shouldn't be happy about movie theatres closing. Think about the movie industry. The money made from ticket prices help keep it alive. It helps fund new productions. Does it? I mean, this is up for debate, of course, but if shows like Stranger Things, WandaVision, and The Mandalorian have taught me anything, it's that big budget productions can still be profitable without a theatre release. WandaVision reportedly had a budget of $25 million per episode. That's
Damn.
$225 million over its 9-episode run. For reference, that's $5 million more than the budget for the Avengers, and WandaVision was never intended for a theatre release. So, if a show like this is possible, in Disney Plus's early days, might I remind you, then I don't see why movie theatres are needed for the industry to survive anymore. Don't get me wrong, the cash that theatres bring in is sure to help, but it's because of this apparent sustainability that streaming services offer. It makes me wish I could see this current movie release method continue in the future. By all means, keep theatres open and running for those that like them, but I do dream of a world where going to them is no longer mandatory to enjoy the latest releases. And for how much of a
I can get
shitstorm
that.
COVID is,
Have the
it
option
has,
of
at the very least,
theater or home.
temporarily given me that wish. I just hope it can continue post-COVID. Man, you are one pathetic loser.
At least he has a sense of humor about it. Poking at himself. Commercial break. Give it a quick sec, and...
Number 8. TV series are better than movies. Yeah, that's weird for me to say that, isn't it? Considering I never talk about TV shows on this channel. But it's true. I am finding far more enjoyment now with media that has an episodic format. I work from home, you see. I always have shit to do. But I need a break every now and then, which is where an episode of a TV show can come in very handy. Recently I've been catching up with a lot of anime that I've missed, and their 20-minute length is easily digestible while I sit down and eat my lunch or something. A movie, on the other hand, is a bit of a commitment. It's not something you can easily fit between things. You gotta set aside 2, sometimes 3 hours of your day to watch one. And cause of this, I find myself choosing not to watch that many anymore. TV shows also have that binge quality to them, don't they? An episode can end on a cliffhanger and you're just dying to see what happens next. It's a cheap tactic, but it bloody works. And
Dependable.
The story of a season is split into handy 20 or 40-minute bite-sized chunks. You can be much more selective with when you choose to stop watching. I mean, with movies, there is that big-budget blockbuster aspect to them that lower-budget TV shows haven't been able to replicate. But that slowly doesn't seem to be becoming the case anymore. The Mandalorian, for example, ditched the green screen for a giant panoramic panel of LED screens.
Take this scene in the office of the client, played by Werner Herzog. In a scene like this, surely they just built a simple set, right? Wrong. All of this is that same LED screen.
This is the future, people. TV shows also have the advantage of screen time. One season of a show will be far longer than a movie. As such, it gives you more time to grow attached to the characters. You'll simply be more invested in someone you've known for several years over one you've known for less than 2 hours.
It depends.
I mean, I still look forward to lots of movie releases, of course, but I'm now finding that I'm looking forward to far more TV shows. Traitor! Number 7. James Bond films have not aged well.
Well...
Okay, so I saw my brother recently doing a bit of a Bond marathon. He was making his way through the films, and I dropped by every once in a while to view the occasional scene. And wow, I didn't realize how dated these films have become. Mostly in regards to...
Dink, say goodbye to Beautix. Man talk.
Yeah. Okay, look, I know Bond is designed to be misogynistic at times. Hell, M herself has called Bond as such.
I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War.
Bond is a flawed character. In fact, you could argue he's an anti-hero. So I can totally accept him being a bit of a dick to women. I mean, there's many instances you'll find where Bond even hits women. But when they're the ones pointing a gun at him, yeah, a smack to the face is called for. And hell, one of my all-time favourite moments from the Connery era is at the expense of a woman who did nothing wrong.
Well, she was annoying.
exceptionally fine shot.
I didn't know there was a pool down there.
That's dark as shit, but funny as fuck. However, there are many other moments that, when it comes to the treatment of the female characters, they go a bit too far. Yeah, you can add all the musical whimsy you like there, guys, but what Bond is doing there is something that Webster's dictionary refers to as rape!
That's generally the definition.
Look, I know Bond is forward with the ladies, but holy shit, this is uncomfortable to watch today. But there's two other moments that, upon rewatching, I was just sat there like, yikes. Like in Live and Let Die when he rigs a deck of cards to trick Solitaire into sleeping with him.
You knew the answer before it was given. Strangely enough, somehow. So did I.
Oh god, I can't be the only one who thinks that's fucked up. Oh, and it doesn't help that between these two, there's an age gap of 24 years.
Even Roger Moore started to get uncomfortable by View to a Kill.
Worse.
That's fucked up, man.
Oh, and then there's this wonderful, wholesome moment from Thunderball when Bond has just survived an assassination attempt, and the nurse, incorrectly thinking that this was her fault, pleads to Bond to not tell her boss. That's when Bond does this.
Well, I suppose my silence could have a price.
Yep, James Bond, the man who should be able to bed any woman he chooses through wit and charm alone, has instead resorted to achieving that goal via blackmail. What the fuck is wrong with you? Look, by all means, make Bond a womanizer, but he shouldn't resort to tactics like blackmail and rape. I feel incredibly disappointed with humanity that I even need to say that. Bond should instead use his mastery of flirting to bed women, because that approach will make him instantly more likeable to the movie-going audience. Women will want to be with him, men will want to be like him.
I'm afraid I'm not that cool.
Well, perhaps you just had to practice.
Perhaps.
There you go. That's Bond. It's clear the Connery and Moore films are products of their times, and whilst I still do enjoy them, there are definitely full of moments that, for me, just bring on the cringe.
I tend to notice little things like that, whether a girl is a blonde or a brunette.
And which do you prefer?
Well, providing the collars and cuffs match.
Yeah, there are some parts, and I'll get into it later, but yeah, there are some parts from especially the Connery films that are a little eyebrow-raising in the modern day.
Number 6. There's nothing inherently wrong about sequels and remakes. Yeah, I see the hate for this all around the internet. Hollywood is completely out of ideas. What happened to the good old days? What happened to originality? Oh, this is most unorthodox. I mean, look, it is undeniable how much sequels and remakes rule Hollywood these days. But first of all, for people who say, oh, Hollywood is out of ideas, they're not. There's still plenty of original movies still being produced. They just don't do as well. And understandably so. People will go watch what they're familiar with. It's not anyone's fault, it's just human nature. And Hollywood naturally takes advantage of that. But despite that, remakes and sequels themselves can be amongst the best Hollywood has to offer. In fact, there's so many classic and adored
Good
films out
examples.
there that many people don't even realize are remakes. And as far as sequels go, there's many out there that trump their predecessor. Terminator 2, Shrek 2, Spider-Man 2. Hell, most of the Mission Impossible sequels outdo the original.
Also good
And there's
examples.
even rare examples where sequels to the most critically acclaimed films of all time outdo the original. Take Blade Runner 2049. I thought that was the better movie, and the original is regarded as one of the greatest sci-fi films.
I don't know if I go that far, but it's definitely a modern classic. 2049.
At least had potential to be good. Mulan, for example, I thought was a prime candidate for a live-action remake. The film ended up being terrible, but the idea of seeing a more grounded and grittier tale of Mulan had promise. But online, many people were shunning the film before it even came out, and people still do. For example, there's plans to do an American remake of Train to Busan, a fantastic zombie film out of South Korea. And everyone is calling shit on this. Go to Twitter and you'll find no one happy with the decision. But people, give it a chance. Yes, it might be shit. Yes, it's kinda redundant to remake an already stellar film. But Hollywood does have the advantage of a bigger budget. In the right hands, it could be good. Oh, Hollywood should stop remaking other countries' films. I mean, how unoriginal. I mean, name me one good Hollywood remake based on a foreign film. Magnificent Seven, Scent of a Woman,
The Departed.
They're not all bad. The thing is, we live in a time where there's not a whole lot of originality anymore. No matter how unique a film may appear, it's been done before. So don't knock a film if it doesn't appear to be
All comes down to the director and how they do it with their style.
Give it a chance. It's unfair to judge anything until you've actually seen it. Yes, maybe Hollywood should go a little easier on remaking everything, but don't automatically assume a remake will be bad. You could be in for a pleasant surprise.
I find that unlikely.
Number 5.
Arnold was good in that.
Best Actor and Best Actress should not be separate awards. Okay, so for those of you who are immediately calling foul, think about this for a second. Why are there separate awards for actors and actresses? Seriously,
Because
why?
they're men and
I
women.
mean, this sort of segregation makes sense with sport, for example. Women aren't as strong or as fast as men. Sorry, ladies, it's true. Blame him upstairs. So giving women their own tournaments and awards makes perfect sense. But there's no disadvantage to women when it comes to acting. So why is the award split? Now, I know many of you might be thinking, oh, well, they give separate awards for women, so they're allowed to have their time to shine. If there was just a Best Actor category, then the largely male academy will just vote for their fellow man. Women would barely ever win. Okay, I hear it makes sense. But by that logic, shouldn't that mean every other category should have a separate award for women? You know, like Best Female Editor, Best Female Cinematographer, Best Female Director. Oh, whilst we're at it, cause minorities are so underrepresented at the Oscars, we'll need Best Black Actor, Black Actress, Asian Actor, Asian Actress.
It's starting to stretch here a little, man.
Hispanic Actress, Black Male Director, Black Female Director, Asian Male Director. You see the problem? You can't separate an award for increased diversity, because to effectively include everyone, the award show would never end. If actresses can be given their own award for increased exposure, then in the interest of fairness, all women in the industry should be given that honour. But unfortunately, that's just not feasible. Ergo, Best Actor and Actress should be merged. I'd also argue that splitting the award undermines the importance of Best Actress. Yeah, ladies, we know you're not gonna win, so what we're gonna do is give you your own award, where you can compete with each other instead. I mean, do you not hear how patronising that sounds? It implies women can't compete with men, which in the acting world is utter bullshit. So if women can compete with men, then they should compete with men. I did know scenarios where a woman does take Best Actor. It would make her win all the more impressive. I mean, yes, you'd then have the issue with fewer women being nominated. But there's a solution. You see, Academy members right now are mostly comprised of white men over the age of 60. Under this new system, this would desperately need to change, starting with a mandate that 50% of these members are women. That way, actresses have a fair shot at the title. So what, are you suggesting we have only one actor winner a year? No, absolutely not. The Oscars should still separate the Best Actor award, just not by gender. Instead, it should be split into several awards, each highlighting a different type of performance. You see, a huge problem with Best Actor right now is that it only ever seems to award dramatic performances. What about comedic actors? What about voice actors? What about mocap performance? What about stunt performance? All these professionals get shunned at the Oscars. And that's not right. As long as the Academy is comprised of 50% women, as it should be, then women should still get nominated. And perhaps upping the nominees from 5 actors to 10 should help matters as well. Also, there's
Seems a bit too complicated.
Best Actor by gender. What do you do about actors who identify as non-binary? I mean, recently, and I know this isn't related to movies, but it turns out Sam Smith is to be excluded from the Brit Awards because they split Best British Solo into male and female categories. So Smith, who identifies as neither male or female, is out of luck. The same issue is bound to plague the Oscars at some point. But maybe this whole award thing, maybe it doesn't matter. In fact, you could say... Number 4. Award shows are bullshit. Yeah, I think a lot of people need a reality check on this, because award shows are nothing short of a money game. Take the big one, for example, the Oscars. The naive of you may believe that it's the best films that get nominated. It's the time where Academy members go out to uncover the best of the best, irregardless of how well known the movie is or how well connected its director is. No. Enter the For Your Consideration campaigns. If you want your film to be nominated for an Oscar, you gotta advertise it. And advertising costs money. A lot of it. You gotta hire yourself some PR consultants to get your movie out there. They'll charge you about $15,000 for that privilege. But then you'll want to take out an ad in the Hollywood Reporter. That'll be 72,000 smackers. Then you gotta send out DVD screeners to the roughly 4,000 Academy members. That will run you a cool
$1 million.
As you can see, it's slightly out of the price range for a lot of filmmakers. I mean, I'm not saying that the nominated films are bad. 99% of the time, they are very good movies. They just so happen to be all made by producers with deep pockets. But even when the films are nominated and it gets to choosing the winner, the results of that are even bullshit. As many Academy members have gone on record to say that they don't even bother checking out all the nominees. Back in 2013, 2 Oscar voters privately admitted that they didn't see 12 Years a Slave, thinking it would be quote-unquote upsetting. But they said they voted for it anyway, because given the film's social relevance, they felt obligated to
Yeah.
do so. Oh boy.
You gotta wonder if a movie's winning because it really deserves it, or just trying to score woke points.
7% of Academy members didn't check out Whiplash, 7% didn't see The Theory of Everything, and a whopping 10% didn't ever think to check out Selma. And it wasn't any better back in the day. I mean, have you heard how the Academy even came about? It was the brainchild of one Louis B. Mayer, who created the Academy to stave off unionists. One day, the dude got together in a lush hotel with 36 people working in Hollywood. He told them that if they signed on as Academy members, their working conditions would improve and that they'd be part of an elite organization. Oh, I don't know. I'll give you a pretty gold statue. That's basically how it went down. Mayer went on record to say this about Academy members. I found that the best way to handle them was to hang medals all over them. If I got them cups and awards, they'd kill themselves to produce what I wanted. I'm an evil genius.
Evil but
Next time you're
smart.
watching the Oscars and you're mad your favorite didn't win. Holy shit, it does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
Number 3. Adaptations do not have to be faithful to be good. So tell me if
Depends.
you've heard this. Oh, that character isn't meant to look like that. They're not meant to sound like that. And Since when could they do that? In the original? Nah. Fuck that thinking. Look, if someone wants to do a live-action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Katara works in the IRS, Sokka is an emo, and Aang is played by a middle-aged Jamaican woman, fucking let him! I mean, okay, yeah, that is a little extreme, but it's all about interpretation. There are no rules for this. A filmmaker is allowed to do whatever the hell they want with a property. They don't owe the fans anything. So as long as the writing is solid, the characters interesting, and the overall filmmaking is on point, then the film doesn't have to resemble the original IP at all. A prime example of this is The Mummy. The 1999 version doesn't have anything in common with the Boris Karloff one. It couldn't be more different. The original is a classic, and they've turned it into some kind of...
Well, it had a few similarities.
How utterly preposterous. But no one thinks that. Why? Well, because the film is such a fun ride. It did its own thing, but it did it really friggin' well. It's why a film like Dragon Ball Evolution fascinates me. When it came out, Dragon Ball fans were not happy, labeling it the worst piece of Dragon Ball media ever produced. But when I got around to watching it myself, I didn't hate it. It wasn't good, far from it, but I had seen far worse anime adaptations. I feel the fans hated it so much because it wasn't anything like the show, but that's not the reason to hate it. Dragon Ball Evolution isn't bad because it doesn't resemble the source material. The film is bad because of things like lackluster writing, shitty editing, and an uninteresting story. I'd highly advise watching the video Ned did on Dragon Ball Evolution. He explains this a lot better than I could.
Haven't seen that guy in a while.
The fact is that there's many critically acclaimed films out
Good
there
example.
that barely resemble the source material. Like, did you know Forrest Gump once joined NASA and went to space with an orangutan?
Bob!
Have you got an inch of my supply? No, but maybe author Winston Groom did. Because that's what Forrest does in the novel the film is based on top of a bunch of other insane shit that probably wouldn't have translated particularly well to film. What I'm trying to say in short is, unless it's a sequel, judge a film as though it's the first time you've ever been exposed to its world and characters. Distance yourself from what you know, because that seemingly insane interpretation of something you hold dear might end up being something pretty special. Yeah, right. Number 2. I like fart jokes. I have a problem. Yeah, fart jokes are about as lowbrow as you can get when it comes to humour. But man, a good one can just break me.
I hope that's not one of the good ones.
I mean, I used to incorporate the odd fart joke myself in my older videos. I don't do it anymore because you guys weren't a fan, but damn it, I miss my fart jokes.
Yes, you looked very nice.
I always used to incorporate them when a character made a motion that
I remember.
passing gas. And damn it, adding a fart sound over that Tim Curry expression will never not be funny to me.
Okay, that was kind of
There are
funny.
both good and bad fart jokes out there, so perhaps I just wasn't doing it right. Cause everyone loves Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, not everybody.
Blazing Saddles is a comedy classic.
That's not the funniest scene in the movie.
And of course, it's not just limited to movies. Take the million that Family Guy have done, for example.
Oh, yeah. Whew. Oh,
Hit or miss for me.
I guess that I am just ungodly immature. It's just the fact that we as
At least you
humans
realize
all
it.
have a very peculiar motion. We squeeze gas out of our anuses, and when we do it, it makes a squeaky sound.
there you go. Don't pop that, you'll throw up.
That will never not be funny to me. Not much to say
Okay,
about this
that was a
one.
little funny.
I just guess my sense of humor is shit.
Check it out. Dad's on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And my number one most popular movie opinion is, I like Jar Jar Binks. Goodbye.
Not surprising.
I had left, but
He likes the prequels.
I'm sorry. Jar
Phantom
Jar
Menace,
has
at
been
least.
victimized for years, and I want to speak up for him. Yes, he's annoying, clumsy, ill-mannered, but first of all, that's the point. The other characters themselves hate his guts. People he just met. His own freaking people exiled him. How rude. Hell, even the supposedly emotion-free Jedi can't stand him.
Why do I sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
Pathetic life form? Holy shit, dude. But Jar Jar is a pointless character. He doesn't do anything to advance the story. Oh, you know, outside of leading Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to Otokonga, being the liaison between Naboo and the Gungans so they could fend off the droid army together, and giving emergency powers to the Chancellor, which would set in course the chain of events that would eventually lead to the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. But other than that, pointless. Okay, but he's a comic relief that just isn't funny. About that, I think he sometimes is funny. I mean, yeah, his bits are hit and miss, definitely. But I love this moment right after they've just lost power in the bongo.
Relax, we're not in trouble yet.
What yet? Monsters out there, leaking in here, all sinking and no power? When they use a thinking, we set in trouble.
I laugh at that, because I think I'd have the exact same reaction. You're thousands of feet underwater, you're surrounded by God only knows how many deadly sea creatures, and you've just lost power. And the guy behind you says, oh, we're not in trouble yet. Jar Jar's reaction
That's
here
funnier
is
than Jar Jar.
hilariously warranted.
For me.
And you know what? I think other people like Jar Jar too. They're just in denial about it. Want proof? Well, check out this clip from the Graham Norton show, where Benedict Cumberbatch is asked to do his impression of him.
Oh no, it's a big sea
Now listen to that audience reaction. People love that. But why do they
Well, it might be
love
because he did such a good
impression of
job.
the character they hate? Isn't that a little contradictory? I think, for many people, Jar Jar is the character they love to hate. He's just a big punching bag now, isn't he? Everyone makes fun of him. Including me. The fans send their regards. But that in turn makes me respect him. He's subject to all this crap and he just takes it like a champ. Also, Ahmed Best deserves better, man. I mean, the poor guy.
Agreed.
Got
He was put
so
through a lot of
much
fucking
for
shit.
What I honestly thought was a good performance. I mean, listen to him talk about the time when he took his son on a trip to New York and they're crossing the Brooklyn Bridge.
Then I got to this point on the bridge that I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was really the reason why I hadn't walked across the bridge in 18 years. It was the spot where I almost ended my life, because 20 years ago, I played Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars. I faced a media backlash that really made me feel like my life was over.
I mean, that is heartbreaking. Put yourself in his shoes. You know, you're a massive, massive Star Wars fan. You get the role of a lifetime, and you're all super, super excited about seeing people's reaction to it. Then the movie comes out, and everyone despises you.
Same could be said for Jake Lloyd, what he went through.
The franchise, and with some people going as far as to send you death threats.
Star Wars
Shit like
fans,
that
man.
makes me ashamed to be human. Fuck people, man. Jeez. And with all the hate Jar Jar gets, along with moments from him that I do think are legitimately funny, like, I always love this bit. That is hilarious to me. It reminded me of a Simpsons episode where Homer saves the power plant through dumb luck, and so a new term is coined. Jar Jar just pulled a homer right there. I mean, I don't expect anyone watching this video to start singing Jar Jar's praises or anything, but I would argue he's not even Star Wars' worst character.
Not by a long shot.
That's fine, but I have a soft spot for him, and if that makes my taste in films god-awful, so be it.
Your support is well seen.
So there we go, my top 10 unpopular movie opinions. If you disagree with me, I don't know why I used the word if there. By all means, let me know. But when you do that, you have to share an unpopular movie opinion you have. Because when
I gladly will.
shit-tasting movies, no one has. Till next time.
Okay, time for the shoutouts.
Hey guys, thanks as always for watching. Quick announcement from my patrons. I'm going to be doing a Patreon exclusive Q&A where I aim to answer every single question that I get from you guys. So if you want to get in on that, follow the link in the description to become a patron to support with me in the world. And to my top tier patrons, allow me to thank you by name. Thank you to Rami Ezedine, Connor Steeman, Chef Matt Reviews, Callsign Slinky, Phoenix of Dusk, Alex Dewar, General Kenobi, Duarte Belen, Dr. Ten, Timothy J. Kilner, Joey, Thomas Wright, Mark Tonner, Gregorio Vasquez, Lieber9999, Scott Hazlitt, Max Stahl, Goldsboro TSG, Jake Burgess, Joshua Bowden, Jacob Matthew Crawford, Saul Montague, Jack Downey, Christian Lishka, and Stephanie Suchputra. Can't thank you all enough. More videos are in the works, guys, so stay tuned. Take care of yourselves.
Same to you, man. So, that was Ross Sean Fernley, the Unusual Suspects top unpopular movie opinions video, and it was interesting, like the movie theater one. Can't say I agree with every single thing he said, but there were a few I thought were well, like he presented himself well, and there were some good points he made. And before I start, like he said, I have an unpopular movie opinion to give myself, just right out of the way. My favorite Batman movie is Batman Returns. That's not the unpopular opinion, but what comes next is. My least favorite Batman film that I fucking hate, I just loathe and despise. Like I put it in my top 10 worst movies list just for how angry I got watching it, is The Dark Knight from 2008. Yep. I can already expect the hate I'm gonna get, but yeah, I watched it, didn't like it, thought the plot was all over the place. I hate Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I do think Heath Ledger was great as the Joker, but I hated Batman so much that I was rooting for the Joker, and yeah, that's how I knew that movie kind of failed, at least from my point of view. But anyway, before I dig my grave even further, the 10 things he said, the number one being that he prefers watching movies solo. Can't say I agree with that 100%. I mean, there's some movies that I will prefer to watch alone. There's some that I feel like watching for the first time is best alone, and going to the movie theater, if I go by myself, I technically consider that alone. But there's some movies where I feel like the experience can be better if I watch it with somebody else. And for the past year, the only person I've had to really watch a movie with every now and then is my grandfather. We live very close, so we haven't been at risk as far as COVID regarding each other. And he just got vaccinated twice, and I'm gonna qualify very soon. But yeah, I like watching movies with him, and I haven't seen him in a while, but my buddy Alex, he's a real fun guy, and yeah, it's better if it's a really bad movie, because you can joke a bit, and sometimes I show people movies that I've seen but they haven't, and it's fun to kind of see them react to it. But yeah, I can get that a little bit. Hearing somebody say they don't like certain parts, I get pissy. Can be a bit off-putting, but yeah, I'm someone who enjoys it, and it's clear he doesn't, but he explained it pretty well. And him saying he's glad movie theaters are closed, I probably should have expected that, but that's another one I really disagree with, just for the fact that, yes, the COVID, like, I'm a germaphobe, which is why I have this shirt. It was a gift from my friend Alex, because he knows that I've struggled with OCD, but I've been handling this pandemic well. But one of the main things I've missed is going to the movie theater, and yes, there have been annoying cunts every now and then who just do the dumbest stuff, like talk or go on their phone, brighten everything up. Some people will sneeze, but I do like going to the cinema to see it on the big screen. It always feels incredible, and yeah, it's just one I disagree with him on, but I get what he wants, and it just seems like he said with number 8, he prefers TV shows. Seems like he's the usual suspect's a TV guy through and through. And as for TV shows, some TV shows can be good. I'm a bit mixed when it comes to television. My main thing is there are so many TV shows, and one of the biggest turn-offs for me is if it's a TV show that's gone on for many years. If it's one of those shows that has like 20 plus episodes per season and it's been going for like 10, 15 years, that can be, if I see a show that's been going on that long, it can be a bit overwhelming. Or if it's a show I've been watching a while, like The Big Bang Theory, I used to really love that show, and Law & Order Special Victims Unit. But the more I watch those shows over time, I just feel like it had gone on way too long, and as I got older, I began to see things that I really hated. So I just stopped watching. But I do get what he says. Like, I feel like a movie can develop a character and story very well, and sometimes it feels like the right length, like the original Star Wars movies, Goodfellas, Casino. Those are just a few examples. They are 2 to 3 hours, and I love long movies, so I feel like I've had a bit of a journey and experience. Some TV shows, again, like if they've gone on for fucking ever, like the main thing about TV shows, the TV shows I like are the ones that have a continuing story. Like, I really, as I've gotten older, have come to hate episodic, like per se sitcoms, where the episodes are pretty standalone and they don't really carry anything on. And I know that's how TV works, but that's also kind of why I don't like it. Like, growing up, I used to watch sitcoms like Full House, reruns, but as I'm older, I've really come to despise them. But shows like Deadwood, The Sopranos, Oz, that do have an occasional standalone episode, and for the most part, they carry a storyline, many storylines, and those are some classic shows that I've loved and watched all the way through. And as for number 7, about the James Bond films not aging well, yes, there are some elements of the James Bond films, the early ones, Connery, Moore, that are a little to watch in the modern age, but I'm not a big fan of people saying a film hasn't aged well, because, yeah, they came out in a certain decade many years ago, and I think it was Brad Jones that said, how dare this movie that was made 50 years ago have things that aren't seen as acceptable in 2020, 2019. It happens. Like, movies that were made a while back then will have stuff that don't cater to the sensibilities of today, and there are many movies like that, like Revenge of the Nerds, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and there are some moments that are definitely not alright or acceptable, I guess would be the words, but usually there are a few individual moments that I don't feel like they should destroy the whole film, and there's still a lot to enjoy. And I also don't think that the whole James Bond not aging well is a completely unpopular opinion because there's a lot of people that have poked at this. Like, as far back as, say, the Austin Powers movies, they poked at some of the cliches and, I guess, problems that the Bond films had, and epic rap battles when they did Bond even had Austin Powers say the line, "To be fair, you are a bit rapey. I mean, I like to swing, but Dr. No means no, baby." And I don't know what else to say other than, yeah, a long time ago, has some stuff that doesn't hold up 100%, but I feel that shouldn't ruin the film completely. And hey, if you want a movie that really hasn't aged well, like it all over, has a ton of problems throughout the whole thing, then go check out Blame It on Rio. That's a movie that'll have you screaming, "What the fuck?" continuously in the most hilarious ways. As for the best actors and actresses, should be just one category thing. I get what he's saying, but I feel the point he tried to make about male, female for everything, and the examples he was making, that was a bit of a stretch, and the whole having more nominees, it just seems all a little bit too complicated. And I think I wanted to mention, but didn't because I would have had to talk over too much of what he was trying to say, is when he said the award shows are bullshit, I'm like, almost makes the number 5 spot seem, for me at least, a little pointless. If you think they're bullshit, then why'd you go through all the trouble talking about the competition stuff? But yeah, the award shows, I agree, they are a popularity contest, and they can drag out very long. As for about adaptations not having to be completely loyal for the movie to work, it's a hit or miss with me. I mean, I used to, like, I read all the Harry Potter books before I saw the movies, and that led to me absolutely hating Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the film, because it was a mess of being loyal to the scenes in the book that it was adapting. But at the same time, it didn't adapt certain other scenes and was referencing stuff that was in the previous book but not in the previous movie. So I kind of made it a rule from that point on not to read a book that was made into a movie before I saw the movie, just so I wouldn't have to go through that kind of strain. But yeah, some movies are based on books and they're not completely loyal, but they are great, as the clip showed there. The Shining. And the number 2 thing he said about liking fart jokes, I think that's mostly all on him. I'm not a big fart joke person, and I did agree what he said there, that if it's done right, it can work. And I remember when he used to do fart jokes a lot in his reviews, and to me that was always kind of the lesser of his talents, but there are a few that did work. As he said, like when he did the Dumb and Dumber toilet gag for his Attack of the Clones review, that was fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of fart jokes, and I can enjoy one. It depends on how it's done. Like, a big thing I find is like the reaction to it. In South Park, yeah, as he showed the clip there, they usually, like, they are Trey Parker and Matt Stone are the masters of gross out humor. So if anyone can make it work, it's them, but that seems mostly for him. And as for the number 1, him liking Jar Jar, I don't hate Jar Jar, but I don't love him either. Like, Phantom Menace, like, I think it's a bad movie, but it was a Star Wars film as a little kid that I rewatched the most over any other, so I kinda have a soft spot for it. I don't think it's a great film, but I don't think it's as god-awful as many people made out to be. And Ahmed Best, yeah, he was put through the fucking ringer for doing that movie, and I don't think he deserved to get death threats. That's just fucking bullshit. But it's interesting that he likes him. I don't like him personally. I don't think he's as funny as he made him out to be, but for me, Jar Jar, I didn't hate him. He was just there, and I was indifferent to him. And that's my response to everything he said on the list. Couldn't cover everything, but yeah, it was interesting. The more after talking through it, I really didn't agree with everything he said, but I liked how he presented himself. He explained himself well, and he did have a few points on certain topics that I agreed with. And I guess the main thing to take away from this is people have different opinions, and it's good to hear them out. It's good to maybe explain how you feel, but overall, different opinions, and it's best to respect that. Try not to force or change the other's mind, but yeah, that's all I can really think to say. I did enjoy this list, even if I didn't agree with the majority of it. It was, as always, fun to see the suspect put out a video, and this isn't gonna be my longest reaction video of the year, but I can only imagine what the full length it's gonna be. And as always, hope you enjoyed my reaction. I know I wasn't as loud as I usually am, but I try. And if you like the video, give it a like. Want to see more? Check out the other videos on the channel. If you like those, subscribe, and as always, I will see you again soon.